So before I start that, I just want to give you a brief outlook about what's happening in how the customers who actually using the documentation that is produced by you. So there's a major shift in how the customers actually consuming documentation. The days where you flick through pages and you do control F5 to find things are over. These days, if you want information, you just ask this black speaker called Alexa, and it gives you the information just like that. It goes, reads the documentation, provides the information. So there's a lot of trends that's happening, and the first thing is we are time constrained. We live in a very dynamic world where we are pressed for time. In fact, the modern Gen Z don't want to read anything in the documentation that is more than 140 characters, thanks to Twitter. But having said that, we are also pressed for time. At the same time, we want to empower our customers the ability to do things with the documentation. That is far more important. But that's when the value of your documentation is delivered. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is, we want the information to be available anytime, anywhere, any device, any format. As simple as that. I don't want to ship anything in a PDF and I expect them to be mobile friendly. Good luck with that. Okay, PDF or not, HTML5 fine, they're not responsive in design. And that's the second shift. The third thing is, they want accurate answers. If the information that you write about changes, it takes a long period of time to update your current documentation in PDF. But having said that, if the things change, you have to dynamically change your documentation because you have to produce accurate information and deliver to them in all the formats that have. Guess what? The delivery mechanism is not PDF. I'm sorry to disappoint you because PDFs, those days are gone. They are outnumbered. They do have its niche market, don't get me wrong. It can be available for safety and compliance purposes. You have to print stuff. It can be accompanied by medical devices, any kind of cars, motorbikes, machineries. I get that. But having said that, times are changing. Welcome to this new world called self-service, where everybody goes, finds the information by themselves without going to any kind of tools. The content is available for them at any time, anywhere. And all the customers these days want to be self-served. They don't want to call a customer care, wait in the lines, or call someone over the phone, find out the relevant documentation. They want the information come to them so that they can self-diagnose, self-troubleshoot everything by themselves using the right documentation. And that's exactly where we see the shift. You probably know this one better than me, the amazing documentation lifecycle. You know we have a lot of different versions, but you start with planning. I want to know what kind of documentation you need to produce. You create the content, you enhance the content, you're trying to organize the content in some kind of information architecture that you have put together. You're trying to manage that kind of documentation, you share it. At the end of the life cycle, you either archive it or destroy it. Very typical kind of a documentation cycle. But the problem, what is found in the market is to do all these things in one platform, it's hard. There are two different sets of things where you manage, you create content in one platform, FrameMaker or any kind of CMS platform like Claire, Haligo, you name it, there's a lot of vendors out there. And for the content delivery, you move to another kind of system. I produce an export as a PDF or a HTML file or a CHM file, and it goes to another kind of a platform where you have to upload that kind of content into another platform, which the technical writers don't have control. What if there's a solution where you create content as a technical writer, at the same time, when things change, you can also control and have flexibility in actually ensuring that the content is delivered to the right people at the right time with accurate answers. That's where we see an immense potential in the market, and that's what we are trying to solve. What do you do? The first challenge I want to talk to you about the technical writers is time to value. That's extremely crucial. When Amazon did this, So you order things and you wait for 3 days to come at your house. Okay, it was great, excellent. It comes to you. But what if it's raining and I want to buy an umbrella? Okay, time to value is short. You don't order in Amazon. You go to the next grocery store or supermarket. You pay, you get the umbrella. Time to value is very limited. And it's exactly where the technical writers need to be extremely cautious when it comes to time to value, because the moment you write things and it has to be delivered, it has to be shortened. And as the things change, this has to change as well, because as the facts change, the delivery mechanism of the information to your customer also has to change instantaneously. So the time to value is extremely longer in the traditional industry that we work in. You probably experienced it in terms of there's a lot of process that is put in place. Those are legacy processes, and changing them is a bit hard. Having said that, your customers are actually changing. Just like the Amazon example, now what happens when in Amazon when you order 2-hour delivery? You order it in 2 hours, it reaches your home. See how much they have optimized for the time of delivery, and that's exactly the need of an hour for a technical writer. Time to delivery, the longer you take, you are not listening to your customers. Obviously, you see all these buzzwords in the world. We are customer obsession company. We are customer first, customer centric company. To live to that mantra, the documentation has to be thought as the integrated experience of your product, not as an afterthought. Okay? If the product is delivering value to your customer, so does your documentation. Okay? And how do we solve this problem? Again, the problem we need to solve is the content delivery has to be versatile. The content creation has to be versatile. The content delivery has to be instantaneous. Okay? What do you need for that? You need two systems. A content creation where you can create content using something called as a markdown language. If you're familiar with markdown, it is a platform agnostic, technology agnostic way of creating content. It is not bound to any kind of file format, and that's for the technical writers who know markdown language. To kind of use the technical writing world, I like something like a Word kind of an editor. Sure, you can have that. How do I manage all the amazing screenshots and images and videos I take? Sure, you also need to manage that kind of content in the content creation phase. That's another kind of capability you need. I want to add links, hyperlinks, and things like that, and ensure those links are not broken. Yep, that needs to be taken care of. And I want to organize content, okay, in a very hierarchical way. That has to be the capability of that content creation. What about publication? Sure, nobody likes to read something that is not flashy. The content has to be rich, it has to be interactive. That's exactly where this content creation publication comes into play, where you have to preview content, make sure that the look and feel of your documentation site is aligned with your brand guidelines, and also ensure that your customer is also exactly taking that information in a very intuitive way. And more importantly, as I said, the moment you change your content, the delivery mechanism has to be instantaneous so that your site is always up to date. And obviously, the brand guidelines have to be taken in place. I'll just show you a demo. This is our platform. You can actually see on the left side, you have all these categories. You can create a category, or for example, I'll just create a category for demo. In subcategory under resources, sure, I go into category, I create an article. Okay, demo, create that. I've got some content here. Just copy this. The editor I was talking about. This is a markdown editor. If you're familiar with the markdown language, hashtag for heading 2. So you can see that that's the preview here. If you want to make something bold, publish. And once you hit publish, there you go. So there. And you can share that URL that I have on top. If your documentation is public, you send that URL to your clients, your customers, it's available instantaneously, no problem. You make changes in the content, you hit the publish button, it's available for the whole world to see instantaneously. Again, I'll talk about the workflow, but this is one of the capabilities. Okay, the other question is, okay, I as a technical writer, I don't know Markdown language. There's learning curve to learn the Markdown language, no problem. You go and change our editor. And this is a familiar kind of an editor where you see it's like a word like Google Docs like editor. And which means a newbie into your technical writing team can actually use this editor rather than using the Markdown language. Again, you can actually create as many categories you want, and you can actually put it on a tree-like structure, and you go to your site, and that's exactly what you see as well. So whatever hierarchy you have on the left side is available for them to actually navigate, and whatever structure you have, that is also there for them. And one of the other capabilities is, you remember that Control F5 you do in the PDF, and you type some keywords, and it gives you like 10 different pages, and you don't know where the relevant informations are. But guess what? Our search capability is AI powered. The moment you publish an article, it's instantaneously indexed by our AI engine, which means that it's available in the search right away. And you can actually put any kind of a keyword, and there you go. It actually gives you a list of all the things that is relevant to the keyword. If you want to look at all the results, you can also do that as well. But you click on it, it actually takes you to the right kind of article that is relevant to them. And then actually, as I said, ability to do things with the documentation is a lot more important. And in terms of the customization of all the colors that you see on the top, including the icons, your brand colors and everything, they are absolutely customizable. And guess what? You don't need an IT team to do that. As a technical writer, you can do that. With simple clicks, just to choose a color using few drag and drop buttons, and that's it. You can customize everything that you see in there, including the menu items, including all the hyperlinks that you put in there. Everything is customizable. The next problem I've seen, in fact I've attended a couple of classes today, where people talk about workflows. Yes, so we write content, and obviously that's the peer review for quality and also for technical accuracy. And what we have found was there is a long lead time in terms of peer review process, and sometimes it gets stuck in your manager's inbox, it never leaves it, okay? And you have to give them a nudge, send them a team chat, hey, what's happening with the documentation, what do I do? Good luck, okay? You don't have a high level visibility of how long does it take for somebody to peer review that document and then make it online. That's exactly the problem we're trying to solve. This is the typical documentation process we have. On the left side, I have something called BPM, you probably know this, a business process map. I have stakeholders listed as a swim lanes, and I have a lot of activities that they do, okay? You take the business process, whatever you have internally, you map it out, and you actually streamline it just to optimize to ensure that the lead time is actually shorter. Or you can eliminate some of the bottlenecks, or you can actually understand where the bottlenecks are actually happening. So you do that, and you can actually take that business process and implement it on a tool, no problem. And guess what? It is dynamic. Tomorrow your peer review process changes, it goes from a technical writer to an editor and to your manager for an approval, and the very next day the marketing team needs to be involved or anybody else needs to be plugged into that kind of a workflow module, no problem. You can configure that in the tool, and it takes care of everything. The other critical challenges we actually face with the technical writers is the dependencies with the technical writing team with the various stakeholders are actually increasing. You no longer write and you get a manager approval and there you go. there are a lot of people are involved in terms of reviewing content, in terms of giving you feedback. Sometimes it also comes from the end customer who actually read your documentation. So that needs to be taken care of. And you have other tools. If you're using any kind of task management tool in your organization, like Jira, DevOps, Asana, even a to-do list, okay, that is very good. More importantly, the workflow analytics. How do you know that your manager is a bottleneck? It could happen. Now you don't have evidence to prove that. We give you that evidence. If something is overdue, it pops up red in their platform and they have to attend to it. Okay, it's very important to ensure that things are delivered on time, to ensure that there's a kind of a cadence in unexpected techniques. That is very crucial in terms of that. How do we do that? So this is our workflow designer. Again, very graphical and intuitive in nature. Now you can see I have like 5 stages. A draft stage, an L1 review, L2 review, L3 review, and L4 review. And after that, it goes into the publication kind of a stage. If I want to change that, no problem. I can create a new status. Peer review, I can add. And you can actually move this peer review process, no problem. Okay? Anywhere you want. And this is how you design it. How do I use it? Go into documentation. You click on an article that you want to read, and let's say I want to edit this document. Here. You see the workflow status right there. The workflow status, now whatever I've designed is peer review, L1, L2 review, all pops up here. All you gotta do is go here, peer review, click here, you can pick our owner, your manager's email ID or anybody using the platform, give their name, and guess what? This is the magical thing. You can say the due date. I want this to be done on this time, that's it. They will get an email or in the Teams notification or a Slack notification or any other team collaboration tool that you use, you get a notification and they have to log into the platform. They get the same kind of interface. They come in, they review the content, they can leave comments, mark them as reviewed. We also give you a bit of a chat functionality here. If you want to tag someone and then leave comments, I don't know. Sorry, change. Or whatever comments you do, and this history is preserved. Okay, very important. And once you have done that, then you move to the next people on the line. You go to the L1 review again, you update your workflow status, it goes to the next person who's configured as part of your workflow. Okay. The other interesting thing I want to say is every time you make changes, we have version control. So anytime you edit or make changes to the document, it creates a new version. And guess what? For each version, you can look at the workflow history. Who did what, when, what changes has been made. That is also possible out of the box. Coming back to the analytics. So see on the left hand side, I have things that is assigned to me, things that are overdue, and how many articles are on what stage of your workflow. Okay, here you can actually see there is 8 articles that is in L1 review, there is 7 articles in L2, 0 in L3. These are how many articles you published. Guess what? If anything that is overdue, that shows up in the overdue item. Those are the things that you need to action now. Okay, and we provide rich analytics in terms of how long it takes from stage 1 to publication. And you can actually optimize your internal business flow by ensuring that time to value is actually minimized. Okay, and you actually understand all the bottlenecks in your technical documentation workflows and things like that. Very powerful feature. Yeah. The third one is, as I said, we have a mindset of responding to the customer needs quickly, which means as a company, technology company in the 21st century, you have to respond to your customer feedback instantaneously. You deliver a PDF, what happens? Somebody in the shop floor finds there's something wrong with your documentation. Good luck responding to the company in 5 minutes. You just can't do that. But in the digital world, that's exactly what your company differentiate from the rest of your competition. You need to update your documentation very quickly. These are two feedbacks. One is feedback for the content writers in terms of technical review and things like that. The other one is in terms of ensuring the content quality is also improved. Okay, those are two critical analytics. Again, this also helps in terms of looking at how many people viewed your documentation, how many reads that happened, how many likes, dislikes, because those are the feedback as a technical writers you need to improve the content quality. Extremely crucial for a technical writer to get feedback and act on it. I'll give you a demo. So this is our website. This is a public documentation site. I go and I read this and I go, you know what, there is something wrong. Okay, I give a thumbs down and I give a feedback. Okay, difficult to understand, and I put please add screenshots. Okay, and if you want, you can actually do an email and everything, and I click send. Now, I come to my teams, I've configured. The moment I left the feedback, see that custom comments? That is my comments. Difficult to understand. Right there. Right there for you in the teams. It comes instantaneously. So now you can actually go to the article, make changes, respond to the change instantaneously. Okay? So here I'm talking about agility and speed for a technical technical writer to respond to the change. Okay? So the next thing is managing digital assets. You're probably familiar with all the CCMS, the amazing way you manage all your digital assets. We provide one stop to manage all your digital assets, no problem. How do you do that? You go to something called Drive. So this is the Drive, and you can actually see use like a folder structure to structure everything. You can have all the screenshots added here, and more importantly, you click on it and view dependency. It tells you in how many articles that this image has been embedded. So if you delete it, you know the impact. Okay, and guess what? If you replace this image in Drive, all the images where it's been referenced, all the articles it's been referenced, the images will be updated automatically. There's no things of going and changing the lanes and fiddling with the tools. No problem for you. This is the way you make the technical writer work much easier. You can delete it, you can rename it, you can do whatever you want. But again, this gives you the feel of the same recycle bin and the Windows-like way you manage your files and the content. So the last thing I want to talk about is in terms of hosting. So if you're familiar with Document360 or even the CCMS platform, you got to export some files, give it to your IT team, and they don't know what they're trying to do with the HTML file you're given. What they usually do is they actually create something called the web server, where they actually host this information. All the HTML you do is hosted in a web server where actually serves all this information to your customers. Okay, the IT team has to spend time in terms of fortifying your site, the security for spyware, malware attacks, everything, and has to live up to the scale. What if there's like 10,000 people logging into your documentation and it might go down? It is not built for scalability. What we do is we solve that problem. Anything on a SaaS solution, which is software as a solution, which Document360 is one of them, it is built for scalability, reliability, and security in mind. So that as a technical writer, you don't need an IT team to manage all those things. We do it on your behalf, and we're GDPR compliant, and we're compliant with all the security protocols and frameworks around the world. So it is taken care absolutely for you. the URL I've taken, talked about for the technical documentation, that can be mapped to your company website. So if you have a domain called 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐩𝐭𝐞𝐫𝐬, you can have docs.copenhagen.com. So that is your website, and that will help you to map your domain, your subdomain to your R domain, so that your brand guidelines are actually met and you can actually brand your documentation site. And quick tips before I close off. So as a technical writer, create content in Markdown as much as possible because it is technology agnostic. Streamline all your business process. Go to your office and then create that beautiful business process map. Create a workflow, understand what kind of activities are actually going, what kind of decisions being taken, and look at streamlining that. And more importantly, try to aggregate all the data, all the analytics as a technical writer that you need. It has to be centralized so that you can make a data-driven decision. Very crucial for a technical writer. And if you're an SEO person, I don't think in the digital world anybody goes to a documentation site and type. The only thing our kids know is find the information is to Google. If you don't type anything, that's where your documentation site has to come on the top of that Google search result. It's called SEO, search engine optimization. Guess what? In Document360 it comes out of the box. You write documentation, we do the SEO on your behalf so that it ranks on the top of Google search results. It comes out of the box. The other experience you've probably seen is you click some links in the documentation site and gives you this famous 404 error, which is page not found. Not a good experience, but you need to ensure that the links are not broken, the images are not broken. That is something you need to take care of. And again, the hosting environment, don't leave it to your IT team to manage that for you. As a technical writer, you need that freedom to control the content delivery. Okay? One pro tip before I leave: focus as a technical writer. Focus on writing, not on the tech. No tools, no fiddling with everything. I believe that the tools have to give the freedom and flexibility to technical writers so that they can actually produce content, deliver content, and then they can actually manage the entire documentation lifecycle that is within their own hands. So they control their own destiny, which is very important because you are the knowledge creators. You are producing documentation for somebody to help them to actually do their job, so which is very important. So focus on content, not on the delivery. With that, thank you very much.